Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Shanks seems to be a noble person, not because of his family, but nobility in the sense of kindness, always seeking to help those around him, regardless of the situation. At the same time, he has also had some questionable actions, like what he and his crew did during their encounters with Kid. In the past, we saw that Shanks lost his arm to save Luffy from a Sea King. Something unbelievable, considering Shanks was very powerful even back then. He could have protected his own arm, used Haki, and not sacrificed his arm. In today's video, we will talk about the reasons why Shanks allowed the Sea King to tear off his arm without trying to do anything to prevent it from happening. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, as we know, Shanks is a rather enigmatic character who follows only his own life purposes. Often, we see him as a tyrant pirate, and at other times, as a diplomat seeking to do things in the best possible way. One of the biggest events that marked his life was during the time he spent with the little boy who dreamed of being a great pirate, the young Monkey D. Luffy. Right from his introduction to the story, Shanks, the pirate who inspired Luffy to dream of going to the sea, sacrificed his left arm, the arm he used to wield his sword and compete for the title of the world's greatest swordsman, to save Luffy from having his life taken by a Sea King. However, there is a question about Shanks' motivations for this. After all, at that moment, Shanks could easily have killed the Sea King, could have stopped the sea monster with his Conqueror's Haki, or defended himself with his armament Haki, but he chose to simply allow the creature to tear off his arm. For a long time, this great question remained unanswered. Why did Shanks allow his arm to be taken instead of killing the Sea King? Sometime later, we had an apparent answer from Shanks himself, a completely unexpected response, but created by Oda to make us see Shanks as a hero, to make us believe that he truly has a good heart and hoped for great deeds from Luffy. Shanks would have given his arm in exchange for the life of the Straw Hat Pirate. As Shanks said, he gave his arm for this new generation of pirates, allowing Luffy to live and become a powerful pirate who would change the course of the world. But today, we can see this in another way. Shanks seems to have tried to manipulate Luffy's destiny that day to ensure that he fulfilled his fate. As you must remember, Shanks and his crew watched as Luffy, still a young child, did something completely unexpected just to prove his worth. Luffy had cut below his left eye with a small blade. For the boy, this was an attempt to show Shanks' crew that he was brave and worthy of joining the red-haired pirate crew, something that all the pirates were astonished by, but also excited about, as they were pirates after all. They then threw a party at Party's Bar to celebrate Luffy's courage. During this, Shanks reprimanded Luffy for being so foolish and once again said that he would not allow Luffy to join his crew. Shanks said he felt the boy was still too young and inexperienced, and that he couldn't swim and a pirate needed to swim. Many people focused on this statement from Shanks, saying that's why Shanks' crew doesn't have members with devil fruit powers. But that's not the main point in this conversation. After tricking Luffy into drinking juice, Shanks told him that he and his crew would leave the village after 2 or 3 more trips, which Luffy said would give him time to learn how to swim. At that moment, some people believed they were looking for Ace, thinking he would inherit Roger's legacy. But what we can notice is that Shanks, even if Luffy learned to swim, would not take him with him. This goes beyond Luffy's age, but rather his strength. Luffy wasn't strong enough to face the sea, and he might never become strong enough, and Shanks needed power. He needed strength. That day, Luffy wanted to become a pirate. But what about when he grew up a little? Would he still hold on to that same dream? However, everything changed just a few minutes after this dialogue. They were interrupted when Higuma and his bandits arrived and demanded sake, which Shanks and his crew had drunk all of except for 1 bottle. Shanks offered the last bottle to Higuma, but he broke it over Shanks' head because he felt it wasn't enough. When Shanks tried to clean up the mess instead of retaliating, Higuma threw Shanks' food at the pirate and left, convinced that Shanks was a coward. After that, Shanks and his crew laughed at his humiliation. Luffy was completely furious at the way Shanks refused to retaliate, so he tried to leave the bar. Shanks tried to hold the boy back to prevent him from doing something foolish, but noticed something that surprised him. Luffy had eaten the devil fruit that Shanks and his crew had been carrying, the fruit that Shanks had introduced to him as the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Shanks and his crew were distracted, and fate ensured that Luffy ate that fruit. Shanks scolded Luffy for this, stating that it meant he would never be able to swim again, which scared a young boy since he had eaten a devil fruit without even knowing it was one. However, today we know that Shanks didn't know what to do. After all, that devil fruit was extremely important. It was the Hito Hito no Mi, Model Nika, the sun god fruit. Shanks believed that Luffy wasn't the chosen one to eat that fruit. He was just a kid with a dream. A few days later, Shanks and his crew set out to sea, leaving Luffy behind once again for not being ready to be a true pirate, and because Shanks didn't know what to do for the boy. Eventually, Higuma returned and took Luffy hostage when the little boy insulted him. As Higuma prepared to try to take Luffy's life, Shanks and his crew, having returned from their sea adventure, appeared nearby and teased Luffy about his claim of having a punch as powerful as a gun. Higuma warned Shanks to stay back, and when Shanks began to approach him, one of the bandits put a gun to Shanks' head, trying to prevent him from getting closer. However, Shanks simply told the bandit not to point a gun at someone to scare them, as it was an ineffective threat. And shortly afterward, Lucky Roo shot the bandit in the head, shocking all the bandits witnessing the confrontation. When the other bandits claimed it was dirty, Shanks pointed out that he and his crew were pirates, before telling Higuma that he would never forgive anyone for harming his friend, no matter their reasons. After Ben Beckman defeated the rest of the bandits, Higuma tried to claim that Luffy started the trouble, but Shanks said it didn't matter. In fear, Higuma used a smoke bomb to escape. At that moment, Shanks had already realized that he needed Luffy to inherit the Pirate King's purpose, and he had to protect his captain's fruit. For this reason, saving Luffy was more important than his own life. Higuma would never have escaped Shanks that day, yet he did escape with Luffy, something that wouldn't have happened if any of Shanks' crew had decided to stop him. They arrived just in time to save Luffy, yet they allowed that villain to escape with him. Just as they had found Luffy when they arrived in the town, Shanks went to the sea and reached Luffy, who had been thrown into the ocean by Higuma after still provoking the bandit leader. And how could Shanks do this if not by using observation haki? It's no coincidence he knew exactly where to go. And he knew because he had already mastered haki. Then something completely unexpected happened. A Sea King appeared behind Higuma, who was watching Luffy drowning. The Sea King quickly devoured Higuma, along with the boat he was on, and then turned its attention to Luffy as its next target. Shanks then jumped into the water and swam at incredible speed to reach Luffy, saving him from the creature and losing his arm while protecting Luffy from being devoured by the Sea King, whom he scared off using his powerful haki. However, as Shanks comforted the boy, Luffy began to cry about how Shanks had lost his left arm while defending him, and Shanks stated that it was just an arm and that Luffy was more important. This showed that Shanks truly didn't care about losing his arm because saving Luffy was something he needed to do. That day, he showed Luffy that he was placing his hopes in the young boy who could become a great pirate capable of changing the world. But we can see it another way. Shanks was actually sacrificing his arm to ensure that Luffy would become a pirate. After all, Luffy's obvious destiny was to become a marine, or he could have just followed a normal life. Shanks knew that this fruit had a great purpose, just as he knew that for many years no one had been able to awaken it, meaning he needed Luffy to follow his destiny as a pirate. Sacrificing his arm for Luffy to fulfill his dream of being a pirate would make Luffy feel indebted to him and would ensure that he would never give up on the desire to reunite with him. The Straw Hat also showed how Shanks said that one day Luffy would find him again at sea when he became a pirate. In that moment, Shanks sacrificed his arm for Luffy to become the Straw Hat Pirate. But what do you think about that? Do you think Shanks lost his arm for no reason? Comment. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.